Hey, Patrice, how you doing?
Good, how you doing, Steve?
Good, good. Can you just tell me what it was like from a personal standpoint? I'm sure you still want to be playing hockey, but it's probably been the longest time you've been away from your family in your life. What was it like coming home?
It was great. It was amazing. Obviously, definitely not the outcome that we wanted. We were all committed and ready to stay for the 2.5 months, but that's definitely the when you look at the glass half full and the silver lining was to get to go home and see the kids. It's one thing that FaceTime and you have technology at least to see them, but it's a little different when you're able to hug them and kiss them and be there for them. So it was an amazing, I guess. Well, they were pretty happy and excited, and I was as well. So it was a great welcome home for sure.
Thanks, Steve. We'll go next to Joe Haggerty. Whenever you're ready, Joe.
Hey, Bergie, how's it going?
Good, how you doing, Hags?
Good. How much of a block does it feel like there is with this Tampa Bay Lightning team? You faced them twice in the last 3 years, lost in 5 games to them in the second round, and they're in your division. They've got a young core. It's a team that you're going to have to get past, obviously, most years if you want to get to your goal of winning the cup. And just how much of a block does it feel like there is now, given what's happened in the last time you faced them last couple of years in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think great team. I feel like the way they're structured is kind of a little bit like us, where they have a core, and then they add some pieces every year, and they're always competitive, obviously. Not an easy team to play by any means. That being said, I think it's one of those things where you have to find ways, and you have to kind of as the years goes on, you battle against the same teams and you get used to them, and you find tendencies and things that you can do to counter that. To me, it's about worrying about what we can do, what we can bring as a team and get better. Obviously, it's about learning from past experiences. I think that's something we've done, in my career in the years past, where we had some struggles, and we finally kind of got past teams, and I think it's going to be no different with Tampa. That being said, it's not easy. It's 2 years, twice in 3 years, I think. So definitely a team that has given us some trouble, I guess, in the playoffs, but not something that you have to be overly concerned. I think it's about what you bring, what you can do, what you can change, and learn, obviously, going forward. So that's how I look at it.
Thanks, Joe. We'll go next to Dan Roach. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Patrice, how you doing?
Good. How's it going, Dan?
Good, thank you. Just a thought on, you guys were pretty down, obviously, after losing the talk of the core. And just what do you think, how much this group has left as a core, but also how much would you like to see maybe some of the younger guys continue to step up and progress and help out the core that you guys have?
Yeah, I think it's nicely put, Dan. I think it's what we've been able to do here in this organization for many, many years since I got here. Basically, we've always been able to to bring in some guys, some key guys, some younger players when other guys were leaving, or I think about guys like Rex and Marco Sturm, and there's a lot of guys that came in that were a huge part of our team that left, and we found a way to continue and still be competitive. So that's how I approach it. Obviously, you want every guys to stay and not leave, and still be a part of this team because we get along so well. But it's also part of the business, part of the things that we cannot control as players, and we have to bring the best product on the ice and in gel together and all that. So, and I also am very proud, and I think the young kids, the young guys that are coming up have a bright future in front of them, and they can seize opportunities also to come in and be an impact.
Thanks, Dan. Jimmy Murphy, you're next. Go on ahead, and Kevin DuPont, you're on deck.
Hey, Patrice, how are you?
How's it going, Murph?
Good, man. I'm just wondering, sort of more on that with the core there. Each year, how much more maybe when you reflect back on the season and you reflect to the future, how much you wonder, when is this going to be it, and how much more chances does this core have to get a cup?
Yeah, I mean it's something I guess every year, you always look at this one year, and you want to seize the chance and the opportunity to win, because obviously you know that as you get older, your chance, as a player shrinks every year. It doesn't matter how old you are, as you're getting, up there in your career, you obviously learn that, and the experience kind of makes you realize that it's not easy to get to that point and to get to the ultimate goal. So you're trying to every year to seize that moment. That being said, I think it's one of those things where I'm trying not to look too far ahead. I understand that it's part of your job, but I'm just trying to take it a year at a time right now. Unfortunately, it's in the past, and we have to look forward for next year, but we don't know necessarily what's coming with the cap and staying the same, and still the uncertainty of the pandemic and whatnot. But hopefully we start sooner rather than later, and can still have most of the guys back and have another chance at it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll go next to Kevin DuPont.
Morning, Bergie. Welcome home.
Thank you. Good morning.
You've had all sorts of off seasons in your career. Strictly rest, rehab, a surgery. If you could give us a general picture of your health at the moment, and the bigger question being, this has got to be weird. I mean, it's September off, it's October off. You don't know when the new season begins. So given your current state of health, and then, what do you do here with not knowing when the next season begins?
Current state of health, the usual. It's been my groin over the last few years. Nothing has changed, so it's kind of the same kind of lingering issues and chronic issues as comes. It's on and off and comes in and out. So I think I'm gonna have to take some time off for that to just make sure it's back and feeling good. But it's obviously, I know it's the same song and dance that I've been telling you guys for a few years. But that being said, to me, it's tough when you don't have a date in front of you. Like usually, training camp is September 12th or September 14th usually. And you can kind of plan your summer or your off season that way. Right now, since there's a lot of unknown, I think it'll be rest and then try to play it by ear. Try to talk to some people to see, have a feel of when we could start and plan a summer, an off season program and a training program based on what I'm hearing and making sure I'm feeling good and ready to go whenever called upon. It is definitely different, not as easy to plan, because if you do have, 3 months, it's one thing, but if you have 4 or 5 months, then if you add to that, it's kind of, harder to make sure you're at your peak when needed. But, I think it's, we're on the same boat. I feel like I've been able to manage the last, the uncertainty of the playoffs and getting ready for that well. So I'm not expecting anything else for this offseason, I guess, going forward.
Thanks, Dupes. We'll go next to Mike Loftus. Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, Patrice.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Going great. You addressed a lot of this before, but I'm kind of wondering, a year ago or last season, you go from September to the middle of June. This year with that 4-month break before you started and it went 6 weeks, did you ever feel right? I mean, did you ever feel like, you were in, playoff shape, playoff mode, physically?
I mean, it's obviously because of that time off and it's usually you're getting to the playoffs after a season and kind of feeling good and now it was a little different, the fact that you got away from the game for not skating for 3 months, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and then you get back at it. So it's definitely different, definitely it was a little harder. That being said, I felt fine. I felt, the only difference was, it was a training camp, missing a lot of guys in and out of practices, and definitely not an excuse. I'm not trying to say that. It was just harder to find our groove right away. And we got to Toronto. I don't think we had one practice with the whole team. So that was definitely different. Definitely an adjustment that we had to make. Understandably so. At the same time, I know that the rest of the teams were in the same situation. So personally, I felt fine. It took me a while. Probably the exhibition game and the round robin were games that I needed to feel better. But once the playoffs started, I felt fine. And but definitely unusual. Probably not the same way that you'd feel after a season and no stoppage of play, and then going right into the playoffs, you obviously feel a lot better.